Guys, welcome to today's episode. Today we're cooking something special. It's called fillet steak with peppercorn sauce with rosemary Hasselbacks. Alright, I hope you guys can see it on the screen, so let's just get started right away. We have the ingredients ordered from HelloFresh: 1 red onion, 1 sachet of cracked pepper, 1 sachet of apple cider vinegar, 1 sachet of chicken stock paste, your salad potatoes, carrots, 1 pack of cream fraiche, fresh herb rosemary, tender ham broccoli, and of course your salt and pepper for seasoning. Alright, so the next thing you need to do is to preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius. So I've just done that. So let's move to the next step. So the next step is to cut your tomatoes 3 millimeters halfway through. That is, you cut it this way. Be careful with your hands, but make sure you do not cut it to the end of the potato. It's just like making marks in through. If you can use the chopping board, it's better this way. So I just prefer, do not cut it through, just like 3 millimeters into the potatoes, and you do that with the other potatoes as well. Alright, so after cutting your potatoes, the next thing is to put them on this baking pan. I like to drizzle my baking pan with oil before putting anything on it at all. This is to make sure they do not get stuck to the baking pan. Alright, so you put your potatoes on the baking pan, then you drizzle with oil again. But before I drizzle with oil, I need to add my pepper and salt for seasoning. Not too much pepper. Okay, so you have to have your pepper handy and your salt for seasoning your ingredients. Alright, so I get my salt now. Not too much, like half a tablespoonful. Put it on the potatoes. Alright, not too much, just half tablespoon. Then you flip around to make sure that it's on both sides. Okay, so here's what I have. And make sure your hands are clean if you are using your bare hands without your gloves. Rinse off, then you drizzle with some oil so it can go into the oven. Alright, so this is my rosemary leaf. I'm going to cut the leaf away from the stalk. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. I'm going to cut the leaf away from the stalk because this is the stalk. So, and I'm going to chop it into pieces. Quite easy. So I'm going to discard this. So this is what I have. So I'll chop this into pieces. Remember, these are potato that is well seasoned. I need to put it into the oven because it's hot, and I'm going to leave it there for like 35 or 14 minutes. All right, so I'm doing that right away. And remember, it's at the top shelf. Also, my carrots, I'm going to get another baking pan and drizzle with oil, just like we did with the potatoes. Drizzle with oil, just to prevent it from getting stuck to the baking pan. So I'll put the carrots, okay, well spread out on our baking pan. Then I'll season with salt and pepper, exactly the way we did for our potatoes. Make sure your hands are clean, like half tablespoon of salt. Then you sprinkle your pepper. And make sure they are well coated with the seasoning. If you have your gloves, you can put on your hand gloves to do this, but make sure your hands are clean. This is to make sure they are well coated like they should be. Alright, so the carrots is seasoned with salt and pepper, but we're not going to put it in the oven yet. We're going to allow the potatoes to roast for like 15 minutes before putting this in. So it will be like 20 minutes remaining. So this carrot is staying in the oven for 20 minutes. But when it is 10 minutes gone, we're going to add the broccoli. So let's wait for the potato to roast for 15 minutes. So it's 15 minutes gone, so I've taken the carrots into the oven. But before we add our broccoli, which is after 10 minutes, we need to cut all the long branches to make it even. So I'm going to cut into half. Alright, so the next thing I'll be doing after putting the carrot and cut into the oven and cutting the broccoli into halves, I'm going to heat up a drizzle of oil or some oil, as you can see, on a high heat. And I'm going to season the stick with salt. Then I'll fry in the oil. So not too much. Okay. You season both sides. And you fry on the fire. Okay. So make sure you wash your hand after handling the meat. So this goes in. Okay, so you allow this to fry for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You turn to both sides for it to be well done. So after which we'll put aside for it to rest and we'll make the sauce. Okay, so this is what our steak meat looks like. So I'm going to set aside. And I brought out the carrots because it spent like 10 minutes. So I'm going to put the broccoli by the side of the carrot and put back into the oven. so it can roast for another 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to add some oil to this broccoli, and I'm going to toast to and fro to make sure it is well coated. Okay, so let's just quickly do that. So I'm going to toast to and fro and return back to the oven to roast for another 10 minutes. So my oil is still on the fire. If you want to add more oil, you can add more. So we can fry the onions and prepare the sauce. So these are onions here, but I'm going to put on a mild or medium heat, a moderate heat, to fry the onions. Oh, sorry. Perfect. So yeah, is it? You don't need to wash the pan. So the oil is hot, so I'm going to add the onions into it. I'm going to stir for like 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, you stir. So tear open your cracked black pepper and add it. Okay, into the onions and you stir. Looking good. So after adding your black pepper, all you need to do is to add the cider vinegar to it. So remember, our cider vinegar is in sachet, so tear open and add to the Alright, so our potato is ready and our carrots and broccoli are also ready. So this is what they look like. Perfect. And this is what our carrots and broccoli looks like. Looking good. So we've It's 3-4 minutes. I've added the cream fraiche to our sauce, and so the fire is off. So the next thing is to cut uh, the steak meat into 4 pieces and serve the food for everyone to eat. Alright, so I'm going to serve. Make sure your hands are clean. Cut this into 3 or 4 pieces. Okay guys, we finally come to the end of this episode and see what we've got. Wow, looks yummy. And this is what we have on our manual. Looks so similar. Wow, interesting. So I can't wait to taste this. Let me taste the steak meat. Yummy. I hope you enjoy your meal, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.